Well, the first thing you need to know about the pen tool and the vector tools is vector tools and the things that they create really don't have anything to do with pixels. Now, pixel images we refer to as raster. Raster images are made of pixels. And Photoshop primarily is a raster program. We deal with graphics and photos and all sorts of things that we manipulate the pixels on. But a vector is different. Now here I have a couple of things to show you. I have a black dot that is made out of pixels, and I have a black dot that is made out of a vector object. And if you look over in my layers panel, you can see I've got a shape here, and we'll get into how to make all of those. But here's to illustrate the primary main difference between a pixel and a vector object. Now we've talked about how if you take a small image that's made up of pixels and transform it really big, you lose quality. So let's take this first pixel one and I'm going to transform it really big and hit enter. Now if I zoom in on the edge, I can see that it's ragged, it's got some really funky things going on. That's because Photoshop tried to create new pixels to fill in that information from the old one. And honestly, Photoshop does not do a great job at this. So if you take a small pixel image and make it much larger, you're going to lose image quality. So if I do the same thing with my vector image and make it every bit as big as the last one and hit enter, when I zoom in on this edge, it is still just as crisp as can be. Now that's because a vector is created with a mathematical let me get this totally bungled up. Vectors are created mathematically. It is essentially a wireframe that is made up of paths and points and then filled usually with solid color. So we can do fun things with both, but vectors tend to have more kind of flat image uses, but the vector tools in Photoshop, you'll see by the time we hit the end of this lesson and really the next week lesson that they are very multifunctional. But I just wanted to get this out there that that was the main difference between a vector and a raster image, is that a raster image is created of pixels, and if you enlarge a raster image much beyond its original dimension, you lose image quality. Vectors you can enlarge pretty much indefinitely and make them smaller and larger and smaller and larger, and you'll never lose image quality. Alrighty, so let's move on to the next exercise now that we've got that down.